What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about a fragrance from Azzaro. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I have high hopes. Well, I want to have high hopes for this fragrance because most of the fragrances from the line I absolutely hate. Strap up. Let's hope for the best.
Okay. I wish I had moved side to side as I let this in into the room. You were on top, let's connect minds. Trying to get into a mood. We gon' be fine. Close up the blinds, no rush. Finish the food.
All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. Today, from the house of Azzaro, we have Azzaro Pour Homme, courtesy of Scent Decant. This fragrance was made in 1978. So at this point, we can safely call it vintage because it's almost 50 years old. Now, what do I want to say about this? Is there anything we should know about it? I mean, it's still available today. It's fairly cheap in the market. You could probably snatch it up for anywhere between 15 and 30 bucks, respectively, depending on if you're going to discounters or retailers or discount retailers, etc. I don't really like the Chrome series. I'm going to keep it tall with you guys. I don't like it at all. It's not my speed, any of them, really. I have some vintage Azzaro coming in the mail just to kind of study and kind of see if I'm not picking something up that I should be, but this is apparently one of the biggest fragrances that got them started, I think. So I do have high hopes for it. You know, I did do a little bit of research before I picked this up. Hopefully this gets me more excited than the rest. Now, unfortunately, because it's so old, I'm assuming it's probably going to be somewhat of a fougere or older feeling fragrance, but at my age, at 36, I'm not intimidated by that. I don't mind smelling old as long as it's good. And I also don't necessarily need to smell, you know, at my age with my collection, some fragrances I just appreciate the smell of. I don't really know how I would use it quite yet, but I just like them for some reason. Maybe I'll grow into them. Maybe I'll grow out of them. That's okay with me, especially with a fragrance like this that retails for about 20 bucks. This is considered, I want to say, like an Aromatic Fougere. Yeah. Okay. Aromatic Fougere. Okay. So you got to put this on skin. The test strip doesn't tell the entire story. It does change significantly by about 15-20% on skin, warms up, gets sweeter, etc. Off the test strip, I get this very green, mossy, earthy, peppery experience, like extremely green, but like bitter greens and mossy, a little bit of citrus freshness to kind of make all that stuff have a little bit more appetizing pop. Might even be pepper in there, but green, mossy, bitter citrus. This is like classic fougere to me. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it yet. Definitely a clean scent, but it's not a very happy scent. It's more seriously toned. It's more dark outdoors, you know, as far as the moss, the greenery, the citrus. It's more of the dark side of the moon of those elements. It does smell old school. You know, it does smell like the time period it came from, which was essentially right when I was born. Or actually, no, not right when I was born. That's crazy. No, close to when I was born. Yeah, just this herbal, aromatic, green, mossy experience. Very old school, but not, I mean, surprisingly feels more complex and complicated than like Drakkar, which feels very like simple aftershave-y old school, you know? This does have quite a bit of beauty in its complexity comparatively to something like that, but it is very dark, fresh aromatic style. Let's go ahead and go out here. So 6,500 people with an average vote of like 3.9 out of 5. So it's almost incredibly popular. It's got a lot of stuff in it. I'm not even going to try to read all this to you. To me, I mean, I get the Bergamot. I get the Clary Sage. I get the powdery, mentholic nature of the lavender. I get the juniper. I get the cardamom. I get a lot of oak moss. I get a lot of amber on skin. I don't really get much leather. The Tonka bean tries to creep out to give it, like on test strip, I feel like this is almost 0 out of 10 sweet, 1 out of 10 sweet. And then on skin, it warms up into a more 3 out of 10 sweetness for me. So it's not a very sweet fragrance at all. This is like natural sweetness from the outdoors. Man, it's such a green fragrance. It's like 70% green, 10% citric, 20% aromatic spices, ambers, and musk. This is old school. Let's see how I feel. Do they compare this to anything for reference for you guys? This is in your vein of like Creed Bois de Portugal, La Ligue pour Homme Lion, you know, that kind of traditional old school, where this would have been like a Creed fragrance. This would have been like a Fougere Creed fragrance from that time period. It would have felt like that level of prestige where it's your working man who's elevating in life and has a complex fougere that sits above the other fougères. But I think as far as modernness today, you know, it's a bit dark. It's a bit dated in its darkness. It's a bit off the beaten path today. It lacks the brightness. It lacks the happiness, if that means anything. It's a very fresh take on a dark and serious scent profile. Moderate to lasting projection. I think this is a fall-winter scent. During the day in hot weather, this would just feel weird. Check this out, guys. It's got a lot in this Pour Homme line. I would be really interested to survey all these because I bet you there's some like serious bangers within this. Yeah, these look really cool. I can just tell due to and what a great bottle presentation. I can just tell due to the complexity of this scent, even though it's not really my tea, that if they're coming with this level of blend and sophistication, they've got to have some incredible stuff in there. Like this stuff, even this fragrance is so much better than the Chrome series to me. But it's old school Fougere in a bottle, guys. Trust me. Age range on this, I genuinely feel like this is 35 and up because it's barely at my age to me. It's old, but there's a beauty and complexity if you appreciate dark Fougères that have a fresh top on them. This is your speed, but for most men, I don't think it's anyone's speed today. This is more like an homage, paying homage to when this came out during its time. It probably sold a ton of bottles because it is quality. It's got complexity. It's got blend. There is beauty in it. It's just the mood of it is very dark. Like this is very cabin out in the woods mixed with suit and tie sophistication, dark night, about to rain kind of mood for me. This is briefcasey, top hatty, but even dark within that realm, you know. Might have been a lawyer from the 80s would have wore this, or a judge, or a politician, or a shoe shiner, or a barber. You see where I'm going? Like, how many of you guys are getting excited about that? Not very many. Seems fall winter, but due to the freshness, it would be cool weather leaning. Sprays on this, I think you chill like at 4 because it's very brash. It's a smooth blend, but the fragrance is very unfamiliar, very herbal, very aromatic, loud in its projection. The projection seems very 3-4 feetish, not really a Cios scent, more of a projection bubble. Fragrances like this that I think are better, like more timelessly modern, because I do appreciate what Fougere does. There's a lot of elements to Fougere that just aren't used anymore in the Fougere category. You know, shout outs to things like Beach Hut Man from Amouage and Epic Man from Amouage that are still preserving that kind of style. You know, in my collection, immediately what comes to mind is Bois de Portugal, Royal Oud, Lalique Pour Homme Lion, some of the stuff from like Infinite Russian stuff from Bentley kind of has a more traditional but complex and smooth feel. Anything else I could really put you guys on to? No, it's just traditional, but in that category, it's a beast for sure, above average. For me personally, I'm going to give it, I can't even call it a 7 because this is like, are you the type of man fit for this? Because if you're not fit for this type of smell, you're going to give it a 0. But if you're like, or at least below a 5. But if you like fougères and stuff, like it would be your 7 or 8 out of 10 fougere. So, this is like something where if nothing I've said to you about this review has stuck out, stay away from it. I wouldn't even put your nose on it. It'll smell old and you won't understand it. If you like fougères, any of the fragrances I've named, that stuff tickles your fancy, this would be a above average 8 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 for you. It's a solid fragrance, but it lacks the timelessness as a Lalique Pour Homme or a Bois de Portugal or stuff like that. Aromatic Fougere oftentimes will always smell dated, but there are some that have a timeless freshness and blend to them. It's a good solid fragrance though. It's at least a 7. Some of you guys, I think it might creep up into your 8 category. A lot of connoisseurs tend to call this a masterpiece, which I think they're judging it more from the standpoint of what it was to when it came out. It was much more of a superstar in its time. But in terms of today, me giving you guys a fragrance that I would recommend to you, unless you're a connoisseur or a lover of the art of perfumery and stuff, I just don't think you would ever be in the headspace to appreciate what this is doing, let alone what it did for the time period that it was in. But I know without a doubt in all the fragrances I've smelled that if this came out when it did, for any man in the workplace outside the house, this would have been a very upscale, gentlemanly scent that would have been a utility everyday workhorse of a fragrance. Whether you were high up or working as a train conductor or something, this would have been a fresh, aromatic, invigorating scent that made you feel like a man, and it would definitely have been above average. So, take that all with a grain of salt. Again, this was Azzaro Pour Homme. It's very cheaply priced, but even as cheap as it is, put your nose to it before you buy it. Shout outs to Scent Decant. I probably got that Decant for like 99 cents. So throw that in your bundle if you're a fougere guy, you like your YSL Kouros and stuff like that, and give it a shot. Like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, turn on the notification bell. If you guys are into fragrance content, click the video section, click my podcast, click the community post, click the shorts. I am super active. And I'm going to put a couple of videos up here on the screen of something YouTube thinks you might like from my channel, as well as something I think you would like from my channel, and give it a shot. Hey, subbing is free. So you'll know real quickly on this channel if this is where you want to call home, and we're excited to have you. So if you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. And until next time, be blessed, guys. Peace.